breaking news. Tottenham agree deal to appoint Roberto De Zerbi as new head coach. Here we go. Story revealed yesterday, now confirmed, as De Zerbi has accepted the Tottenham job with immediate effect. Can you just scroll down a little bit? Yeah, there we go. 5-year deal set to be signed as De Zerbi decides to accept this challenge. So there you have it.
There you have it in black and white. We got the here we go. Roberto De Zerbi to be new manager of Tottenham Hotspur. And it's let the ride begin, as they say. It's going to be a crazy time. I don't know what to expect from this appointment. I think there's a lot to be excited about, and there's a lot to be worried and concerned about as well. There are definitely multiple ways of looking at this, but I do think in general it's a good appointment under the circumstances. I don't think we could, do much better than kind of what we've got to deal with, and he is going to be the new manager of Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, the whole deal was crazy. The whole circumstance of this deal was crazy. It could be, this could be a disaster, but it also could be just what we need. It's going to be very interesting to see where we go from here.
Yeah, because as long as he keeps us up, that's all that matters right now. We can worry about what can come after this, after it's all said and done in the Premier League. But I am convinced that bringing in De Zerbi now, I'm not convinced that he's going to keep us up, but I'm convinced it's given us the best possible opportunity to keep us up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, a 5-year deal set to be signed. No news yet of any sort of break clauses or signing on fees and all these different things. We'll obviously await to hear. I'm sure now this news is broken, there's going to be more and more news kind of filtering when it comes to the Roberto De Zerbi stuff. But that is it. We've got the here we go. So Tottenham have their man. We have a new manager at the helm. And the Roberto De Zerbi era is about to get underway.
Yeah.
What do we expect from this, guys? Is this going to be what we all expect? Is it going to blow up? Or could we have found the guy who's just exactly what Tottenham needed?
Could he actually find a home at Tottenham?
Could
which
he?
He's failed to find anywhere else, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, when it comes to the football he plays, I think the fans are going to really take to that. There's going to be I think the one thing we know with De Zerbi and the football he plays is there's a very noticeable identity on the pitch when it comes to how he sets his team up and how he gets his players playing and how they approach games. The little one-touch passes, the little flicks, the brave kind of possession football. But I also want to say, if you're one of those fans who gets nervous when Vicaro's on the ball, I don't think you're going to like De Zerbi.
We're going to need a new. Do you reckon he favours Kinski over Vicario?
There's a chance, because you watch Brighton play, and how their goalkeeper, whether it be Steele or Verbruggen.
But it was actually interesting at Brighton. Like, he would chop and change his keepers quite regularly, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he wasn't wedded to one keeper.
So, like, depending on who the opposition was and how he would need to play in that specific game, it would either be Steele or Verbruggen.
Yeah, for sure. So, but what if you're nervous about the ball being played in your own penalty box and the ball being kind of passed around, and you're one of those fans who goes, just get it up there, if in doubt, kick it out, all this kind of stuff, you're not going to like De Zerbi ball.
Well, now this has happened, and we've basically hired De Zerbi. Where are you putting us in terms of, like, percentage-wise still to go down? Do you reckon it's decreased a bit?
I would say it's decreased a bit. Yeah, I would say it's decreased a bit. I think this gives us a better opportunity. Obviously, it's hard to really know where exactly this does leave us and how quickly he's going to get us his tactics implemented, all this kind of stuff. So we are very much going into the unknown for him, for us. But that probably would have been the case for any manager we would have appointed. But I think based on the fact of his quality as a manager and his motivational skills, his tactical ability, all this kind of stuff, I think he gives us a better opportunity. I do think he's a better manager than Nuno. I think he's a better manager than Vitor Pereira. I think he's a better manager than Daniel Farker. So I think getting a manager of that quality, for me, gives us every opportunity to stay in this division and can get us the wins we need to stay in this division. Now, the reality is, the barefaced fact of the matter is, it is so late in the day. It's 7 games to go. He has 10 days with these players before, it starts getting, starts with the games coming thick and fast again. So I can't sit here and say this has saved us for sure, and now we're guaranteed to stay up. Because anything we do, we could sign Pep tomorrow, and we're Abramovich as chairman, and we're still not guaranteed to stay up. But it gives us the best opportunity, and I think he's a talented enough manager to navigate this situation between now and the end of the season, and I think keep us up, and then he can start implementing a much more his philosophical approach coming to next season, getting more of the players that are more suited to his way of playing and all this kind of stuff. That obviously comes a bit later, but I think this has given us a really good chance. I would say if for me, it was very much 50-50, maybe even 60-40 to us going down before this appointment. I would say this takes it a bit more in our favour now, I would say.
Well, looking at these games coming, Sunderland away will be his first game, and then his first home game will be Brighton at home.
Yeah,
which is mad, isn't it? First home game. I think, the fan groups are still, I'm sure they'll still be doing the line the streets thing and welcoming in the team bus and give Zerbi a hell of a welcome in the first home game against Brighton. You just can't make up these stories somehow. These things always seem to kind of work out in these kind of ways, where his first home game is going to be against his former club, Brighton. But how many wins realistically do you think he's going to need, and how many do you think he'll get from now to the end of the season?
I think to be sure of it, you're going to need 3 wins probably out of 7. I think that I'm pretty confident 3 wins should keep you up. I think
3 wins with some draws sprinkled in, or just 3 wins?
3 wins at the bare minimum. 3 wins. It might not be enough, but I think that gives you the best opportunity. I think if you get 12 points, you're pretty much safe, I would say, at this point. 10 points, I would say you're 80% chance of being safe. 9 points, probably around 65% chance, I would say, of being safe.
Yeah.
If you get 6 points, maybe you got a 55% chance of being safe. Anything less than that, it's under 50% of being safe. So you probably need 3 wins to be pretty sure of it.
Yeah.
So I think he's got the fixtures and he's got the talent to do it. Does he have the players to do it? That's obviously a big question mark. How he approaches his last 7 games is anyone's guess about how he tries to navigate it with the kind of tactics that he's going to deploy. And what kind of team, if he does deploy full Zerbi ball, what kind of teams is that better against? Because I know the Zerbi ball was always better against teams that attack you and come out and play against you, rather than teams that kind of sit back and low block. So in theory, a team like Sunderland would probably sit back a bit more, but maybe a team like Brighton are going to come at you. So you may be thinking Brighton at home is a perfect fixture for him, but then Sunderland away is going to be a very difficult one.
Yeah.
But then has he learned from some of the mistakes he made at Brighton? And I mean, Marseille was a bit different, but definitely at Brighton, I think he implemented some styles of play, but I think he developed them at Marseille. So maybe a team like Sunderland, who are going to just sit back against us and let us play, maybe that could work more in our favour than we think. It's going to be very, very interesting. But I think for sure there are enough games there where you look at the fixtures and think, in terms of the fixtures we have, there are enough winnable games to say he's got the fixtures to keep us up. He's just got to be able to get the performances out there.
I think it's, we're always trying to cling on to the next bit of Spurs positivity, and I'm excited. I am excited, and I know I might not be excited in 7 games' time. We could be relegated, but like I said before, I do think, he'll bring a certain style of play which the Spurs fans will want to see. He'll bring some excitement back to the stadium, and hopefully he can get us those wins from now to the end of the season to keep us in the league. And I think he can do it. I really think he can do it. I think we've given ourselves, if I'm saying the story starts today, at this point we've given ourselves with a better opportunity than we had yesterday of staying up. and that's all I can ask for right now. You know, we can talk about the failures of Enoch, and we can talk about, you know, how poor they've been all season and the decisions have put us in this situation. I'm not disputing that, but I'm talking about as of starting from today, hiring De Zerbi to having Igor Tudor. It's given us a much better chance of staying up, in my opinion.
Yeah, the only obviously thing that other thing is the fact that his appointment has been so divisive. How that affects the wanted unity that we want in this kind of stage going into the relegation fight. Obviously, you could argue we had unity for that Forest game and nothing. It didn't exactly work, did it? So that's not the number one problem at the moment. But when you're in a relegation fight, you need everyone to sit together. You need no toxicity. You need unity within the fan base, and this is the kind of appointment that does that.
There won't be toxicity in the stadium. I really don't believe there will. I think the number one priority for everyone is for Spurs to stay in the Premier League. I really believe that. And, you know, there can be noise on social media. There'll be noise around and stuff like that. But I think the majority are going to get behind the team and try and cheer them over the finish line. You know, I think people's biggest fear right now is getting relegated. And we all just need to band together, no matter what your feelings are on anything, and just cheer Spurs over that finish line. And hopefully Spurs can beat this thing, and we can all do it together. Yeah. And look, I get what you're saying. You know, we all did it against Nottingham Forest. It didn't work in our favour. But Everton, you know, just look at them a couple of years back. They tried to do it. They lined the streets, crazy atmosphere. They lost 4-1. Did it stop them? No, they carried on doing it and they ended up beating the thing. So that's what we need to do. We can't stop just because, you know, we lined the streets, we got clowned on and everything like that, and we lost the game. That doesn't mean we stop. It means we carry on, we keep backing the team, we keep sticking together. We're stronger together. And hopefully we'll beat it if we keep sticking together.
Do you think De Zerbi comes into the job, though, immediately under pressure because of the divisive nature of his appointment?
I think regardless of the divisive nature of his appointment, he comes into the job under pressure regardless because of where we are. You know, you can't come into a job 7 games to go 1 point off the drop and not be under pressure. Regardless of the nature of his comments or whatever has happened in the past. Yeah, that maybe add a bit of pressure under it, but I think the nature of his comments and everything like that, it won't matter where we are in the league. You know, people, if you're feeling that way about the comments or whatever, you're going to hold it against him. If we're sitting top of the league, middle of the league, fighting relegation. But I do think when it comes to kickoff and when the team are out on the pitch, every fan in that stadium will be supporting the team. You know, regardless of anything. Yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. It's going to be a roller coaster. It'll be interesting to see what kind of things he comes out with in press conferences and on the touchline. And he's a kind of a guy you never know what he's going to do. It seems, and it's going to be a very. I think everyone's going to be, you know, watching, especially opposition fans will be watching this with popcorn out and ready for it to all blow up and it will blow up at some stage. But you know what? One thing you definitely would say about what you will say, you know, especially when it was Tottenham under Ange, you would say whatever you want to say about Tottenham ain't boring, you know, whether we're losing, winning, whatever. I think this season there are definitely times where Tottenham was very, very boring, and we were losing as well. But you know, everyone lost interest. No one really cared. It would just become so irrelevant. I think the one thing we know under Zerbi is it won't be boring.
No, definitely won't be.
Office.
On and off the pitch.
On and off the pitch. It's going to be. Yeah.
What I don't really know what his press conferences are like. What are his press conferences like? What's he like?
He says what he feels. You know, it's going to be. I think that you know you can see from our YouTube views on press conferences. Like when Ange was here, way up, everyone loved watching his press conferences. And then Frank came in and no one cared about them, and everyone was like, "Well, no, people stopped watching them. They're so boring."
I stopped watching them. To be fair, I couldn't stand his press conferences.
I think De Zerbi, you watch. I think the numbers are going to shoot up again because he's a very interesting talker. He says what he thinks and he doesn't hold anything back. So he could have. I mean, I think we're all expecting at one point he's probably going to have a Conte moment. But until then, he's going to have a few interesting things to say, I think.
And look, like when we hired Conte, there was a narrative about Conte that he always blows up and it's going to end in tears, and obviously ultimately did. But for the initial time when Conte first came here, it was brilliant from that point till the end of the season. Obviously, he had a lot longer to implement his ideas, but we got that new manager bounce, and we were actually brilliant from the time he took over up until the end of the season, ended up getting us to top 4.
Yeah.
So hopefully De Zerbi can have that kind of initial bounce, because we're bloody hell going to need it.
More news coming out. Sammy Mockbell reports that there is no relegation clause in De Zerbi's contract.
That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts, is it not?
Tottenham, he says exclusive, Tottenham complete move for De Zerbi with no relegation clause. Deal signed and announcement pending. 5-year contract for the Italian. I'm guessing we could get an announcement today then, at some point.
So if there's no relegation clause, if we get relegated, is he open to staying with us in the Championship? Because if he walks out and he resigns, he won't get paid out.
Yeah.
He only gets paid out if we sack him. And obviously,
Exactly.
if we go down, we got no need to sack him. You know, we can have De Zerbi in the Championship. That'd be great.
Maybe he is open to staying in the Championship. Maybe he gets like reduced wages or something, or maybe not, because God, who knows?
De Zerbi in the Championship would be mad. Would that not be mad? He would destroy that league.
Oh, look at this. Back in De Zerbi's first summer, Brighton had a deal agreed for Kudus.
Oh, right.
There
And
you
what,
go.
he went to West Ham
He
instead?
ended up going to West Ham. Key
Kudus.
De Zerbi target, they called him.
Wow.
Well, look at that. There's one player there already that De Zerbi would like to manage. And he's back for his first game, I think, hopefully. That's
Yeah,
the
I don't know if he'll
rumours.
be able to start, but maybe he can. He's been out for such a long time.
Yeah,
We haven't even seen him on the grass or anything, Kudus.
true.
So
We've
it's,
still got a while, though, to the next game.
yeah, true. I think, like, as well, when you're looking at how he implemented Billy Gilmore, and he loved Billy Gilmore
Yeah.
at Brighton, I think he'll love Archie Gray.
100%. I think Gray he'll like. I think Sarr. I think definitely he's like that kind of profile of player. I think Romero. I think Romero will be tailor-made
Yeah.
for De Zerbi ball, for
Yeah.
sure. I think just a big question mark is how he gets the best out of a lot of the attacking players. But I look at a lot of the attacking
Someone
players.
says, come on, Bergvall as well.
Bergvall, 100%. I think the way he likes his players to carry the ball. I think he's much as the thing is with De Zerbi, he likes to exploit players running in space a lot more. As much as he's a possession-based manager, it's not about tiki-taka in a Barca style, like where they could just open you up at any moment. It's more about manipulating the pitch to open gaps so players can run into. And we have a lot of runners in our team. We're very good at carrying the ball. We're not very good at passing the ball. But I think if he creates those short passages of play and gets the players to run into the spaces, I think our players could be ready for that. I think Kudus will thrive. I think Xavi. Ben who? What?
Sorry,
Oh.
switch cameras.
I think Xavi could thrive because I think players like Buonanotte, Enciso, Lallana did quite well under him for Brighton, and they played some of their best football under him. So I think they play a very similar role to what Xavi does, in my opinion. So I think he could do very well. I think he liked in the back three. He liked like Van Hecker and Dunk, or maybe or Webster. And I think Van der Ven and Romero could very much kind of do that role. And I think Porro as well, very technical fullback. I think he'll like Porro.
Well, he liked his right back to come into the centre of the park, you know, maybe not as extreme as like Ange did it, where he was basically a number 10, but maybe more in the central areas of the midfield. And I think that could suit Porro.
Yeah, I think Porro for sure. Yeah, I think a lot of players are looking at it. The thing is, it's all well and good saying this, but it's about how quickly you can implement all this kind of stuff and whether there's going to be a period of struggle before they get going. But I think a lot of the players, I think the players will be very excited about this because they've been.
And that's what we need.
Yeah.
We need to instill a bit of excitement in this
Yeah.
squad right now because they've just been so like devoid of confidence. They've been devoid of ideas. They've been just so bored on the football pitch. They've not believed in anything that they've done for so long. So they need to De Zerbi needs to get a bit of belief into that dressing room again.
Exactly. And I think as much as people say you're in a relegation fight, you need these certain things to stay up. Like When was the last time these firefighters ever came in and actually kept teams up? I can't remember. Isn't that a thing of 10 years ago now? I think it might be a bit outdated, that kind of firefighter role. I don't know if it's still like a viable thing. Because how many in recent years, I feel like a lot of teams have sat their managers and brought in a firefighter. It hasn't really
But
worked.
also, like the teams that are usually bringing in those kind of firefighters are team with not too much quality. Teams that are like, destined to be kind of battling for relegation. You bring in your Sam Allardyces, your Sean Dyches, all that kind of stuff. Spurs actually have a decent squad, more decent than being in a relegation battle. We should be in a top half minimum. So to bring in a manager that can actually play a bit of football will suit our squad more than to bring in the firefighter style kind of manager.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that for me, in the last year has been the main thing which has got us in this position. It's the buy-in from the players. I don't think they bought into Thomas Frank. I don't think that, obviously the injuries has been a massive thing as well, but they haven't really taken to the way he wants to play football. Igor Tudor, I think obviously he didn't have long anyway, but I think for me, you get these players excited again. You get these players wanting to get on the pitch and play their football again. You get them full of ideas, get them playing with intensity, get them playing it's with attacking intent again. And I think you'll see the confidence grow in these players. I really think you'll see it grow. Understandably, right now, we've still got a lot of injuries. We're very low on confidence, all this kind of stuff. So that make him. Who knows if that's going to change straight away, or that might take time. But I think someone like Zerbi, him coming in, with his style of play, I think these players are really going to enjoy it. And I think most importantly as well, the fans will start to enjoy it as well.
And I think that's half the battle if the players start to enjoy it. I mean, more than half the battle. Because we know that these players have quality. They just haven't been showing it because of various different situations and various different things. But if Zerbi can come in straight away and get them enjoying training, get them enjoying playing on the pitch, then we'll see results. We'll see results. So that's all we need right now. And it's mad to me that there's no relegation release clause. So that means if we do go down,
you have to pay him out, or he won't.
No, we won't have to pay him out because we're not going to sack him. He's going to be our manager, or he walks out.
Well, we might have to sack him if he throws his toys out the pram.
He's at this moment in time, if we don't talk about throwing his toys out the pram, is he really going to do that?
Wait, so who does it benefit more? The fact there's no relegation clause.
I think it benefits us more.
Benefits us more. But you could be forcing a manager to stay who doesn't want to be here.
I mean, he could have easily fought to have it in his contract.
Yeah, maybe he did, and we didn't agree to it. Which maybe there was a bit of negotiating from Tottenham. Who knows? Did we negotiate?
Right at this moment in time, he's contractually obliged to be our manager in the Championship if we go down.
Correct.
Which is crazy.
Which is mad to think, considering he didn't want to join unless we were in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And now there's no relegation clause. I mean, yeah, but it also means we're stuck with him if he's because there could be a situation where he didn't keep us up, and then he doesn't want to really be here, and then we have a relegation clause. Okay, let's just go our separate ways. We don't have to pay you out the full amount. Let's just go our separate ways, and we'll find a manager who wants to be with us in the Championship. I think that kind of could have benefited us in a way, but now it's like, if we get relegated and he starts, doing X, Y, and Z to get out, we're kind of aren't we forced to pay him out at this point, like a big amount? Like, I think that doesn't play into our hands in a way.
If we sack him, yeah, then we're obliged to pay him 5 years.
I'm saying part of my thinking is it could be within our interest to have a relegation clause as well.
Yeah. Rather
than not. So I don't know if it's a good thing for us necessarily. I understand it also means he's got he's also stuck with us if we dig our heels in. If he does want to leave and stuff, he has to be here. But I kind of feel like it. I still think it benefits him.
Well, yeah, look, you might be right there. I see that way of thinking for sure. But do you think obviously he doesn't plan to blow up?
No, of course not.
And he knows that there's still a big chance that Spurs get relegated.
12 million a season. Some people are saying, bloody hell.
So 12 million a season.
Frank was on 8. Conte was 15. so it's a bit in the middle.
Bloody hell. 12 million a season.
It's only his third to Pep and Arteta.
So 60 million. 60 million if we sack him in the summer.
Plus, aren't we giving him like a 15 million, supposedly a bonus or something?
Yeah. Wow. 75 million.
God, it's
This
always
could cost 75 million. That is nuts.
getting to relegation numbers. It's getting close.
Jesus.
Getting close. You better keep us up. Yeah, 75 million. Potentially. If it is true about all these bonuses and stuff. It's a hell of a contract. The 5-year deal is just nuts. It is nuts.
But what I'm saying is that Zerbi, they must have given him the talk of talks in terms of what they'll give him, how they see the future under him, the money that they're going to give him in the transfer market. He probably didn't see Vinay's comments the other day being like, you know what, we need to manage our finances and all this kind of stuff.
This is what managing our finances looks like. Giving this manager this deal. Unbelievable.
But I mean, De Zerbi obviously sees something here that he can work under. Obviously, many managers have done that before and seen something they can work with. But
I mean, I'd like to believe that, but then again, the reality is he's probably just here because there's a number of zeros on that check, and that's it.
Yeah.
And maybe we weren't prepared to offer for the right amount, and now we are because we're that desperate. Is that why he's here? Does he actually want to be here, or he's only here because we've put up just such a ridiculous offer he can't
refuse. We've given him an offer he can't refuse.
We've given off exactly, which is not a great position to be in as a fan, but hopefully he grows to, once he's in here, hopefully he grows to want to be part of this and he can find his home here. But the chances of that happening seem slim.
Yeah. As someone said it here, Saz says, their payment is because of all these years of neglect.
Absolutely.
They reap what they sow. Enoch reap what they sow. They've had to pay this guy so much money because of the countless amount of years of absolute garbage that they've conducted at this football club, and particularly this year. You know, it's unforgivable where we are right now. And even putting their money where their mouth is right now and getting a manager in 7 games left of the season, it's still unforgivable. Like, this does nothing to tell us where, if they're fit enough to run this football club. Like, Vinay still has to go. Lange still has to go. Like, these guys are absolute criminals.
Yeah, I think the fact that we're forced to give a manager like De Zerbi this contract should smack of incompetence from the hierarchy that we're in this position. Like, as much as I think De Zerbi's a good manager, and I think there could be, I could see something with him for sure, and I think I'm happy we have him now. The fact that the situation where we've got him is quite frankly ludicrous.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that we've had to shell out a potentially 75 million for him is beyond a joke, and I think for me, what do you call it, Lange and Vinay, they have to be held accountable. I think the hierarchy should hold them accountable for the fact that kind of money has to be spent on a manager, because it should never have been the case. The fact we have to offer this ridiculous deal is on the heads of Vinay and Lange, 100%. So I don't think they deserve any credit for getting this over the line.
I hope one of the promises made to De Zerbi that these guys are going to be gone in the summer.
I hope so.
I really hope so. But
I think the reality is they probably negotiated the deal, so I don't think that was a promise.
Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? But
I'd assume they
let's hope so.
it.
We can only pray, eh? We can only pray. But it looks positive. Positive. I'm starting to get excited about the prospect of seeing Tottenham. It's still a while away to our next game, Sunderland away in 2 weeks' time.
One thing as well, I'm pretty sure he's going to do. He's definitely going to be riling up opposition fans, I think, when we play, and the way he conducts himself on the sidelines and stuff. Good. I can see him rubbing a lot of opposition fans the wrong way.
Yeah, and he's going to butting heads with a lot of opposition managers as well.
Yeah, he's already been sent off at Tottenham Stadium once.
Yeah, with Stellini. Yeah. Well, that day Brighton did get robbed.
They did, absolutely. Oh my God, that was ridiculous that day.
But look, that is it. De Zerbi to Tottenham. Here we go. Only what's left is the official announcement Do you think we get it today or tomorrow?
I've got a feeling we get it today. They don't want to do it on April Fool's Day, do they? Surely not.
Oh, God. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Let us know in the comment
Everyone's saying
section.
announcement imminent, so I'm assuming that means today.
All right. Well, we'll wait and see, people. We'll wait and see. But that is the situation with Roberto De Zerbi to Tottenham. We've got those 3 words. Here we go. He is going to be the next Tottenham manager. For how long? We don't know. But definitely for the next 7 games. That's for sure.
Well, you can't even say that for sure.
No, I think we could safely say.
Can you?
Yeah.
What if he lose the next 4? Is he? You know what I mean?
Can you imagine?
You can't say that.
Can you imagine if they sack him in 4 games?
I'm bringing Redknapp for 3. His last 3. All right, Harry. Okay, we'll do it.